Welcome back to Sketch a Day. Last time we covered 2-point perspective, and if you're here as a part of this series, I appreciate it. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them below or just reach out to me on other platforms. So today we're going to take a look at 3-point perspective, building on what we already knew before. And again, I have my trusty visual aid here, and hopefully this helps explain the idea a little bit. But 3-point perspective is another way that we can interpret and approximate reality. Now, as I mentioned, warm up every time you sketch. So straight lines, circles, ellipses, that's what you want to be doing. If you missed how to do that, check out the first video in the series and the second video, but I'm going to skip over this process for the purposes of this video. Now, 2-point perspective, or rather, let's go back to 1-point perspective. 1-point perspective was where the face of the object was parallel to the camera, right? Something like that. 2-point perspective, we rotate the object relative to the camera or you, the viewer, and the edge, this leading edge, meaning it's closest to you, appears to be the longest, and then you have these other edges and the sides recede. Now, 3-point perspective means that you effectively take the leading edge here and the object. I'm going to rotate away from the camera. All right. So what this is going to do is create a situation. It's very, very subtle. Maybe if you pause the video and take a look, you can see it. But the sides of this cube appear to taper, all right, or converge at a common point, as well as these lines that recede as well. Okay. So let's do some 3-point perspective. Now, to kind of bridge between 2-point and 3-point, I'm going to start with a 2-point cube here. If you were practicing fanning your lines, you should be able to do something like this. I'll talk about line quality and why I sketch the way I do here in a future video. But 2-point perspective should look something like this. Let's make this one a little more parallel. We can draw through as well, like so. All right, cool. So now I have my 2-point perspective cube. So for 3-point, what I'm going to do, just as a little cheat to kind of instruct here, is it's kind of like taking this point at the bottom, these 2 points at the bottom, and moving them in slightly. And in doing so, I effectively create the appearance of convergence. Let's say we pick a point like that and like this. Okay, we create this appearance of convergence. Now I do need to make an adjustment here with this line, so I'm going to move up like so, and we'll do the same thing over here, up like so. And what you end up with, okay, is just a little cheat to create the appearance of a 3-point perspective. So what that means is that these 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3, appear to converge. We'll call this vanishing point 2. And here, 1, 2, and 3 would go to VP1, and our 3rd point is going to be below, all right, something like this, to VP3. And this is going to give a somewhat more realistic approximation of reality. So what this looks like in a more technical sense, I'm going to rotate my paper here. Let's zoom out on the camera slightly so we can see. A more technical approximation might be me drawing a horizon line. I'll just abbreviate that HL. We have VP1, VP2, and way down here, maybe VP3. All right, a 3rd vanishing point. Pardon me, 3rd vanishing point. So where do we normally see 3-point perspective? 3-point perspective, one way to see that is to, if you're in a big city, you can be on the street, look up at the buildings, and you'll see that the buildings not only recede away from you, but also appear to converge. The height of the building appears to converge at a common point. And when you do see this effect, things will start to click, right? But this is how I would say it's probably the best approximation the best match between approximating reality and speed to expressing a concept is going to be 3-point perspective. You can see it in objects around you, things like a home or any other structure that tends to be larger than you. It's pretty obvious, and as well as objects smaller than you. I'd say it's one of the best approximations because the most realistic approximation of reality as you're sketching would be something like a 4 or 5-point perspective. All right, but we're not going to get into that here. That might be something that I do in specialized workshops that I'll offer or on the Discord when I reboot that. Okay, but back to our sketch. So here we have VP 1, 2, and 3. And remember, the cube has a point that is closest to us, no longer a straight, no longer the leading edge. So what you want to do is start with a point, right? So that's my first point. I'm going to switch my pen here and let's do green. So from this point, I'm just going to go, actually, let's move this point up. I think it's a little too low on the page, but we could also leverage. I'll get rid of that point. Okay, so let's use that one. So we'll go to VP2, just like that, and then VP1, just like that, and now down to VP3. See, I'm ghosting, and then I draw the line. Now I pick the height. This was very close, so I'm going to pick the height right there, and then we go to VP2, like that, and then to VP1. All right, so now the trick is measuring. Again, this is a bit of estimation. You can kind of see what's happening here with this other cube, right? Even this front face appears to be more square than the other faces. This one's more like, you know, a diamond or something like that. So in this instance, I'm going to kind of measure. You can measure from the bottom or you can measure from the top. I'm going to use the top and go like so. And then on this side, remember, if this is the halfway point and we're more on this side, I'm going to see less of this side. All right, I covered that in the previous video, so you can check that out. So now I have 2 points that I've identified, just kind of estimating, guesstimating. Rotate my paper again, and I'm going to go from this point on the right down to the vanishing point like so, and then from this point on the left down to the vanishing point like so. All right, now I have my left side, the bottom right, and then the right side. So all I have to do is figure out the top. And to figure out the top, we just draw from VP1 to my point there, and from VP2 to my point on the left. Increase your outline thickness, and now I have a cube in 3-point perspective, right? Where the vertical lines converge to a third vanishing point, right? So this is below the horizon line, but if it were above the horizon line, it would look something like this. And this is why I say if you go to like a city street and you have a tall building, you can kind of see this in action, because if I were to draw, say, another building or another object, rather, let's say there's a multi-vanishing point set up here, but now that I'm drawing upside down, right, you can kind of see that looks like a building. Maybe if I part this out or something, right, this could be the base of another building, or we can continue to adjust and so forth. So this is how you can quickly get a 3-point perspective setup and start to build worlds, or you can build products or whatever it is you're working on. And the more experience you have, the more you'll be able to kind of freestyle this. Maybe this is some sort of spire or whatever. The more you'll be able to freestyle this and make it work. All right, so there's my quick overview of 3-point perspective. Now, most of the time in product design, I do sketch in 3-point perspective. And what that looks like without the guides and so forth is something like this, where I'm fanning my line. So even as I start with these 3 lines, okay, I'm looking at this line, and I know I need a third line somewhere here. I also know that from this point, and even let's say we complete the shape on the top here. Okay, from these 3 points, even if I draw vertically down like so, this line is going to appear to converge, as well as this line on the left side. So now I can look at these two and go, all right, these two kind of have a flow, a convergence to them. So if I draw a third line, I'm paying attention to how tall this might be, maybe something like that, and then drawing the third line such that these 3 lines appear to converge at a common point. Now I have a point here. I can look at these 2 lines and then draw like so, such that, and let's test it and see, because I've been drawing for a long time, so this may work, this may not work, but it kind of becomes habit and instinctual the more you do this. Okay, so here, let's go extend that out, extend this one out. So I have a point somewhere here, and then this one. All right, I'm very off. Okay, you can kind of see there. In fact, if these 2 were to connect. So this tells me, as I troubleshoot, that actually what needs to happen is if I go from this point to this point, my side would look something like this, but this also throws off the width of my cube. So I probably need to kind of accelerate or exaggerate how much this side is converging, okay? And that's going to give me a better approximation of my cube. So even for someone who is experienced, I make mistakes. I like to check my work because that helps me get better. Understanding this now, when I sketch again, I can make sure or try to make sure that I am, converging as much as I need to, maybe exaggerate that a bit more. Do the same thing on the other side here as I finish out this cube, and just keep practicing. All right. The important thing when you're sketching is to just keep going. All right. Don't look at this and beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I suck, or whatever, because your frame of mind matters. All right. Your frame of mind matters. I remember when I was an intern at General Motors and I was learning to sketch cars, and it was frustrating because I didn't feel like I had all the skills in place that I needed to have to compete with the other students from Art Center and CCA and CCAD and all these other schools. But I share that to say I had to work through my own insecurities and pay attention to how I was sketching. I learned that from a friend of mine who was at General Motors. I don't know if you will see this, but his name is Brandon. And he taught me, you can kind of give yourself constraints. This line is off, by the way. Give yourself constraints and see if you can improve, right? You might say, oh, I'm just going to draw a line twice. Notice how I tend to count as I sketch. I will do 2 lines, and that helps me keep my sketch neater. But I learned that from Brandon, and I share that to say I'm human and I make mistakes, and you just have to learn to work through those mistakes. Keep going, fill those pages, and you'll continue to be better. So this is, again, our boot camp here on Sketch-A-Day. So if you're just getting back into the swing of things, these are great exercises for you to do to practice perspective and get things set up. All right. And don't worry if you're wondering, why are we just sketching boxes? I'm going to keep building on this. All right. And show you kind of how this works and why it matters to understand how this perspective system can work. There are other videos available on the channel talking about 3-point perspective. In fact, if you go to my website, there's a tab that says videos. You can click there, type in a search in your web browser, perspective, and you will see certain videos that go over some of the concepts that I've covered here. So if you need a little bit extra, that's a good place to go. And as I mentioned before, if you do practice and you decide to post something or share it, tag me in it. I won't be able to give you individual critique and feedback, but I'd love to see you working through some of this stuff yourself, and hopefully you can feel yourself improve as you commit time and energy to getting better at the craft of sketching. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today and coming along this journey. It is good to be back. I love your comments, feedback, and appreciate all of it, whether it's positive or negative. Just send the positive ones. Just kidding. But I do appreciate all the comments because I am interested in being better myself. I will be live again soon, so don't worry. We just have to make it through this little boot camp period, and I'll be doing more of these videos covering some basic topics. So up next, I believe we will do either line quality or ellipses. I'm trying to decide myself, and then we'll start constructing forms and building up from there to be able to sketch objects and sketch loosely, quickly, and more dynamically as well. So keep the feedback coming. Much appreciated. Share the video. Give me a follow on the other platforms. I am at sketchaday.com. That's DOTCOM. So sketchaday, no hyphens.com. And I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, I believe, Facebook, here on YouTube as well. So appreciate it. And yeah, it's good to be back. I'm keeping it raw, keeping it real, minimal edits. This is me. So thank you. Appreciate it. And I will see you next time right here on Sketch-A-Day.